Let me guess. You're busy. You're doing a lot of stuff. You're not lazy. But are you perhaps doing too many low-value tasks? Maybe if you stop doing some of these tasks, you could be operating at a higher level. Today, I want to help you elevate your role and increase your value by using a tool called the function funnel. Now, this is something that I presented in a number of keynote presentations and also work through with my private clients, and it's always really well received, and I think it's going to provide a lot of value to you. This is episode 235 of Commercial Real Estate Leadership. My name is Darren Krakowiak. I help commercial real estate principals to lead their people to better performance, to grow revenue in their businesses faster, and also to have less stress in their lives. And in today's episode, I want to acknowledge that I know that you are a hard worker. You're not lazy, but it may be possible that you're maybe doing some of the wrong type of work that either doesn't need to be done or doesn't need to be done specifically by you. When our day is filled with these types of tasks, it lowers our capacity, it reduces our income, and it keeps us stuck in low value roles, which quite often is not very fulfilling and not the reason why you came into commercial real estate to be doing. So what we want to do is ask ourselves this question: not how can I get all of my work done, but rather, should I be doing this at all? And the way that you can answer that question is by putting all of the tasks and functions that you're performing and that are being performed inside your team or business through the function funnel. So I want you to imagine that there's a funnel with a wide top and a narrow bottom. And what we're going to do is we're going to put tasks through this funnel, and we're going to look for ways to eliminate waste, to embrace efficiency, and also to elevate your role and also the roles of everyone that you work with. So let's start at the top of the funnel. The first stage of the funnel is eliminate, right? Can we eliminate this task? And there are going to be certain things that you could eliminate, and it's not going to have a negative impact on the business's ability to grow, and it's not going to have a negative impact on the quality of service we're providing to clients. If something fits that criteria, then we should just stop doing it. It's the perfect candidate for elimination. The more things that we can eliminate, the more capacity that we create in the business. So a simple example of this would be collecting fax numbers. If you're still asking people for their fax numbers, that is something that you can stop doing. Probably advertising in newspapers in most cases. I know there's still advertising on Saturdays, but in many cases, we just don't advertise in newspapers anymore. One thing that I've been looking at in my business recently is what are the marketing activities that I'm doing that aren't producing any results? And I'm working with a marketing consultant to identify, to analyze, to look at the numbers and to say, hey, this is not really producing results. This is something perhaps that you should stop doing. So that's the first stage of the funnel, is eliminate. Can we eliminate that function or task? Now, if we can't eliminate it, the next question that we need to ask is, can we automate it? So can we use technology or software to take care of this particular task? Now, often these are going to be things that are repetitive. Things like following up on arrears initially can be handled automatically by text message, by automated email. Lease event reminders are given to us through automation. We don't go and review every lease every single day. We rely on the systems that we have to send us a notification when certain lease events are coming up. Vendor reports can be automated, particularly if we've got an up-to-date CRM system. And increasingly, I'm seeing the ability to automate inbound calls, as in the triage of inbound calls. You can automate that either through people self-selecting of who they want to speak to, or actually having an AI voice bot answering the call, understanding the keywords that someone is saying, and then putting them through to the right person. So parts of your reception can actually be automated. Now, if we can't eliminate or automate something, the next question that we need to ask ourselves is, can we outsource it? Can we hand it over to someone outside the business who can do it to a higher standard that we could do it internally and also for a lower cost. If that is true, then we should stop doing it and we should outsource it. And a few of the examples that I typically offer when people are looking for ways to outsource certain tasks is, well, you've already outsourced likely event catering. If you're having a morning tea, you don't come in at 4 a.m. and start baking croissants. You go to the bakery, you buy the croissants, and then you bring them into the office. That is an outsourced function. We outsource maintenance. We also outsource professional photography. So all of the things that we don't need to have in-house that can be performed better and at a lower cost by somebody else are things that we can outsource. Now, you might say, well, hang on, it's more expensive for us to get a professional photographer to take photos for campaigns than it is if I just use my iPhone, but the quality is not the same. So if we want to also have the required quality, then it would be more efficient to outsource it to a professional photographer or a videographer nowadays for many campaigns rather than for us to hire a photographer or videographer in-house. So next we say, well, we can't eliminate something, we can't automate it, we can't outsource it. Next thing is, well, can I delegate it? Can I give it to someone who is working with me, who has capacity to do more and has a lower cost to the business than the person currently doing it? Now, that could be a junior team member. It could even be a senior team member if the person who's currently doing it is the principal, or it could even be a virtual assistant, a remote professional. And there are so many opportunities, I think, to start delegating work when it comes to inputting data, when it comes to cleansing data, when it comes to scheduling appointments, when it comes to uploading to online portals. These are all things which I know a lot of agents hang on to, or they're just not doing it all. So if you're not doing it all, but you know it should be done, it's something that could be delegated. And if it's something that you are doing, but it's not the best and highest use of your time, then it's something that perhaps you should look to delegate. And before I go on to the last step of the function funnel, I just want to point out that you do have an effective hourly rate. We've talked about it on the show many times. It's the rule of 2,000 hours. Take your overall income over 12 months and divide it by 2,000 hours, and then you'll get an idea of what your hourly rate is. So if you make $200,000 in a year divided by 2,000, that's $100 an hour. If you're spending your time on $10, $20, $30 an hour tasks, then you're actually detracting from your ability to earn more, because rather than operating at your effective hourly rate of $100 an hour, you're operating at an hourly rate of $20 or $30 an hour, because you could easily get someone else to do that task for that cost. All right, so if we cannot eliminate, automate, outsource, or delegate something, then it falls to the person who's currently doing it. But rather than just say we do it, I say do it better. Okay, so look for continuous improvement. And that won't be too hard to find, I believe, because if you have gone through the function funnel and got some of the responsibility that you currently have off your shoulders, then you are likely to get some efficiency gains because you'll be operating more within your zone of genius. You'll be doing less task switching, so you'll be copying less cognitive switching penalties, which means that you're going to be less distracted, focused more on doing the things that is your highest and best use. If you want to also be intentional about how you can make what it is that you're doing even more efficient and doing it better, you can create SOPs, standard operating procedures, and make sure that you're focused on, mastering the things that are actually within your remit. So just quickly, why does this matter? Well, when you put certain tasks and activities and functions through the function funnel, it allows everyone to work at their highest and best use. It lowers the cost per function or per task to the business, which increases profitability. And it also improves client service, because rather than being distracted by lower order tasks, you're focused on the things which add the most value to clients, and everyone's role is elevated, because if you delegate a task to somebody else, well, they've now taken on more responsibility. So their role's been elevated, but also the person who's delegated work can now focus more on strategic initiatives, client-facing, revenue-generating work. So how do you get started on this? I reckon the best thing that you can do if you want to start considering tasks to put through the function funnel is to look for the lowest hanging fruit. And that's going to be tasks which are repetitive, which you're spending a lot of time on, and that are time consuming in and of themselves. And if you want to get started with this, I've got a couple of ways that you can do it. We'll just think of one, something that also, if you don't enjoy doing it, if it's repetitive, you can be made into a process and it takes up a lot of your time. Well, where does it fall within the function funnel? Is it something that maybe could be automated, or perhaps it's something that you can delegate? And if you're really stuck on where to get started with this, I've even created an AI prompt for you to help you identify certain tasks. The prompt is, you are an efficiency expert. I'm a commercial real estate agent based in Melbourne, Australia. I'm looking to create more efficiency in my day-to-day work. I want you to help me find opportunities to eliminate certain processes, automate particular workflows, outsource certain functions, delegate tasks that are below my pay grade, and find more efficient ways to do the work that is within my zone of genius, but I'm not sure where to get started. Please prepare a list to help me make progress in each of those areas. Now, if you weren't furiously writing down that prompt as I was saying it, I'm going to put it in the show notes. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it's in the show notes. If you're listening to it on a podcast, it's in the show notes. Easy as that. Copy and paste the prompt, put it into ChatGPT or your preferred AI tool, and have a look at what it's got to say. The more that you've been using that tool, the more context it has about you, the more relevant answers that you are going to get. Now, I would love to know if there is just one thing that, as a result of putting that prompt into your preferred AI program, that you've eliminated, automated, outsourced, or delegated. DM me on LinkedIn and let me know. I'd love to hear from you on where you've found some efficiency for yourself. That is our episode for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I will speak to you soon.